everyone. Welcome to another Something Bad Thursday, and today I am going to be briefly addressing a topic that I think highlights probably one of the, uh, I think, most annoying and most um, uh, bad, I would say, activities, at least for the majority of it, considering that I have seen numerous videos online year after year after year exposing this day for what it is, and I just don't think that it is worth the time, the energy, and effort to go through it. And that particular thing is Black Friday. Now, I'm mostly discussing the part of Black Friday that occurs early in the morning. Even they're starting it now till to the day of Thanksgiving, like in the evening, you can actually go already and try to get something. But it still seems to remain true, the whole uh, mentality behind Black Friday, I think, doesn't serve itself well. Excuse me. And I'm going to kind of go into my explanation as to why I believe that is. One being the camping out and waiting until the store opens. There seems to be a certain craze behind wanting to wait in line for something to ultimately come. And then we also see this with other things too, like movies, like people will literally wait. And I'm not kidding you, they're actually doing this for The Force Awakens. They actually are having people already that are camping out 10 days before the movie even comes out. 10 days, people, for just a movie. Um, it just is like Black Friday to the extreme. But again, this sort of camping out and hoping that you're going to get into the store before other people do, I just think sets a really kind of, it just really says something when you're willing to stick it out to wait just to go get something that you may potentially get. Um, and I just feel like that whole energy and time could be used for something else. I mean, I don't really want to be forced within a time period to go and try to find a deal. I'd rather just go find a deal on my own. And even though the Black Friday deals may or may not be a whole lot cheaper, I would rather have the luxury of purchasing things on my own time, than rather to being forced to sit and wait and hope that I can get in to finally get something. So I think that's something that really turned me off from even really participating in that whole craze, was the fact of just having to just wait for something to open up and, go by the store's terms, so to speak. Um, Also, there's a lot, and you will see this in numerous videos, and this is especially true within the United States. I don't know if it exists within any other countries, but I'm sure that there might be some of this activity. But it seems like there is a lot of pushing, shoving, kicking, and screaming when it comes to this time of the holiday season of Black Friday. It seems like everybody just goes nuts around this time of year, just pushing, shoving, and it's just ridiculous. The amount that people are willing to and people that they're willing to trample over just to go and find something for either themselves or somebody else. I mean, I'm most likely somebody else since it's really the holiday season, but I mean, just that whole mentality of just shoving into a store just to go get something and then having to fight for it with other people, I just find to be very, it's just very uncivilized. It's just not, it's just not the way that people, I believe, should handle purchasing uh, methods. I mean, can't imagine the people in the store who have to actually work there on that day and have to deal with all of that. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, I don't understand, the whole constant need to, not only create a scene, but complain on top of that, you know, and maybe even leave a mess. I mean, there are literally people who like go just insane over, you know, some item. So, you know, and I just think that it's a little bit too much. And I think it's really something that can get out of hand really quickly, and I think really does. If you really look at a lot of the videos that have been uploaded and the insanity behind the whole thing. Um, and again, like I've mentioned before, you know, the fact that you are going that to Black Friday doesn't mean you're going to get a stellar deal. I mean, you know, there is luck. I'm sure that there are some people who got really lucky on Black Friday, got some crazy, insanely good deal. But to act like everybody that participates in Black Friday is going to get something out of it, I just think is ridiculous, especially considering the fact that there is more people going into the store at one time, and you know just on the off chance that you have the probability of getting something is also really diminished by that, because again, more people are coming in at one time and going for whatever is available, uh, and so I think it just seems like it gets out of hand, as a result of somebody trying to get the deal before somebody else does. Um, and I think the less crowded atmosphere of shopping is actually one that I enjoy a whole lot more. I mean, when there is lines upon lines of people just to go get something specific, I mean, it's draining. I mean, it's just like you're just sitting and waiting until finally you can go and purchase something. Um, it almost makes you want to buy everything on the internet, but I'm really not for putting my credit card information and all that into the internet, because I think there's, again, a lot of hacking going on, and I'm definitely not somebody that wants to expose myself. So I've kind of detoured from ever really purchasing stuff online or even doing online banking. I'm still against doing online banking. Um, so again, I think um, it's just one of those things where I'd rather go on the chance of maybe that I do find something. Because usually when I go to a store, I actually don't know what I'm going to get because I don't really know what there is out there. So I just go and search, and then I maybe find something, and then that aha moment, you know, and that ability to go and just buy it, I think is a lot more satisfying than, oh, I just got a good deal. I had to wait in a long line, and I had to camp out, and I had to deal with people shoving and pushing me just so I could get this maybe one thing. You know, I mean, I'd rather not be pressured, as far as timing is concerned. I'd rather just take my time to find something. And then I think, you know, usually people's brains and their effort into finding something, I think, increases because you're actually thinking about the things that are within the store. Um, and not so much about specifically, you know, getting this one particular thing. You know, you just kind of, it opens up your mind, I think, to the possibilities of what is out there and what is something that potentially somebody could use or like. You know, I just feel like that's a better method of shopping than this hassle of trying to run around, try to maybe find some deal instead of just being able to just take my time and have that liberty to kind of enjoy the whole experience. Um, so, and I think at the end of the day, it's just not fun. I mean, I don't see the fun in Black Friday. I see the horror and the obsessiveness and the hostility that exists within that time, but I don't see anything else. And again, the only benefit, you know, that anybody I think really sees is just the aspect of getting a deal. And to be honest, I think the whole deal craze of this particular time of year is is a little bit overemphasized, considering the fact there have been times, I think, and even I think a lot of people now are starting to see how Black Friday is just kind of like this thing that everybody feels like they need to participate in, even though they don't really need to, and again, it's not going to produce you a better deal. So again, there's just not a whole lot to it. It's not like it's celebrating anything, or you're really taking in anything. It's just pure consumerism, and at points overconsumption, I think, as well. And again, it's not to say that consumerism itself is bad. I mean, I enjoy shopping, I enjoy finding things to purchase, but at the same time, I try to be smart about it and don't constantly have the need to purchase. Or when I do purchase something, it's something for somebody else and something that I could potentially see that person enjoying. So again, um, I think that the whole um, emphasis on this particular day is largely due to, I think, the fact that Thanksgiving is over, and the whole mentality behind Thanksgiving being over is, oh, it's the holiday season now. I gotta go now. I gotta go get whatever I need to get for whoever. And I think that's also what has resulted in people really taking the participation aspect of it seriously. But the mentality I've always had is just wait until the craze and the insanity is over, and then go hours after the whole Black Friday is done. And it usually ends up being done, um, basically until uh, sort of the afternoon. So, and even the interesting thing is even when I would go after Black Friday, technically speaking, I would still end up usually finding something. So I don't think usually. I think what ends up probably happening is that a lot of people, or at least a lot of stores, have reserves on hand because they know that there's going to be a lot of people purchasing at one time. So again, but maybe the deal isn't necessarily as big, maybe as if you would gone earlier. But at the same time, I think it ultimately isn't really worth the costs that it entails, and I honestly feel it's a little bit too overemphasized, and is something that I think really doesn't suit itself well. But I mean, it's one of those things where there's just a lot of people who enjoy that idea of being able to go in and get something and feel like they can get a deal. But for me personally, I don't think the whole struggle and the whole craze is really worth what it is. Um, and that's just my honest opinion. I just think it brings out a lot of bad behavior. I think it just brings out a lot of bad uh, parts of what we consider to be, consumerism. And again, I'm not against consumerism per se. I'm against more of the overconsumption aspect. And I think having such a little window of going in and getting a ton of stuff, I think is a way of pumping up the consumption to where it's overconsumption. It's not consumption because there's no balance. So again, it's kind of like an extreme. It's an overuse. But that's really ultimately all I can say about this particular topic. I'm more than happy to hear what anybody else has to say, and in particular about uh, if they have any experiences with Black Friday, if they ever taken part in Black Friday, do you usually ignore Black Friday, or what are the parts that you either enjoy or dislike? I think overall it's just been a bad kind of experience from just me looking at videos online. But I can understand maybe there's some people out there who feel it's maybe something worthwhile. But for me personally, I just don't see it. Thank you so much for watching, though. I hope you all have a pleasant day, week, month, and year, and a happy holiday season. Bye bye.